Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, I appreciate everyone joining this Saturday afternoon, and this is the first CNCF 2025 meetup. And yeah, so in this talk, we wanted to discuss about DevOps as a career, and is this still relevant in this AI era, or we need to focus on something else? Okay, so before starting the talk, I just want to understand this audience. So um, like, how many of you are like 2+ years of experience in DevOps or any software industry? Quite a few people. Okay, so I'm assuming that I don't count 1 to 2 years as experience because you have to learn a lot of things, in 1 to 2 years, and some of the people may switch their domain as well. So I'm thinking that if they're less than 2 years of experience, you have and we need to go through fundamentals as well. So I will tune my talk accordingly, because I want everyone to understand and interact with me rather than just I'm talking and you're listening, right? So because this industry is changing rapidly, and even we wanted to understand if there are expertise in audience also, we wanted to hear from them as well. So this is talk about more, I wanted to promote DevOps as a career for all of you who want to pursue, and avoid some misconceptions or any doubts you have when you are thinking about this DevOps as a career. Okay, so let's get started. So before I think I'll just introduce myself. I'm Chandrakanth Reddy, Jakkidi. I work as a manager product development in FI Networks, and I have around close to 18+ years of experience in software industry. Like, I started as a network engineer, and then network security developer, and then I became a cloud engineer, and I started my open source journey with OpenStack. If somebody know, that's the OpenStack days, and then I moved into the cloud, and then now I am maintaining DevOps teams. My team is called Ecosystems Group. The Ecosystems Group concentrate on open source technologies and identifying the technologies which are which can benefit the companies. Okay, we'll just identify the open source technologies, trending open source technologies, and use that technologies to deliver world class products for our company. So I have most of my teams are like using CNCF technologies like Terraform and Ansible, and all my team is working on GitHub. Like, that is open source, and you can see all the work. So that's my and I was part of like CNCF, and I was one of the organizers. So yeah, that's about me. And so now, so how many are you familiar with this? Anybody related to your work? Anybody like using one of these tools? Very good. So what is DevOps? Okay, so what methodology? Okay, continuous integration. Good. And what you use for continuous integration? Okay, Jenkins. Good. So irrespective of what I want to say is, irrespective of whether you're a DevOps engineer or not, you might be using one of these, right? This is the like complete set of tools. Okay. And yeah, now we'll before going to the actual topic, so I wanted to understand what is DevOps actually. Okay, so whatever you are working on this, right? So earlier there is a dev team and there is an operational team, right? And dev is focusing on the development, and the operational, like, there are build engineers earlier. So that is not the way of DevOps will work. Okay, and if you are working as an independent team, that is also not a DevOps. Okay, so this is some of the misconceptions organization have. Still, some teams are working like this. But what is the what is actually DevOps means you are working in a collaborations, right? DevOps team is nothing an individual team. It is working collaboration with development team and operational team. So thus simplifying the processes and increasing the productivity. Okay. For example, the third box, right? If you wanted to do everything on your own, so that is also not a DevOps. And the fourth box is if you are using some tools, that is also not DevOps. So some people will say, I'm a DevOps engineer, but what you're doing, I'm using this tool, that tool. That is not a DevOps actually. Okay, so now we'll see what is actually DevOps. Okay, so as I said, it is somebody rightly pointed out, this is a methodology. It's a concept. Okay, it is not a tool oriented or some language oriented or something. So it is a continuous process to improve both from the development point and the operational point. Okay, so that is what this infinite loop describes. So when I was started this DevOps kind of practices even before the term DevOps is coined, right? So earlier we have a release engineering team, okay, which is used to have this build every time when you develop something, and there is a friction between this dev team and operational team because they are working in a silos. Okay, that is the problem DevOps team is trying to solve. It will automate from end to end process from dev to release, and now with the addition of SecOps, so that is the term new come called DevSecOps, right? So that is the part of the best practices. When you are developing, it's not, security is integral part of your development. Okay, so maybe if somebody says I'm outsourcing something DevOps to third party, it is not the best practice because it's not a contract. It is a core functionality. DevOps engineer is a core engineer for the product from development to release. Okay, so and somebody says SRE also. There is a difference, and somebody says I'm not a DevOps engineer, I'm an SRE engineer. And this SRE was coined by Google because SRE is think of a next level to DevOps, right? So he is there to protect companies' reputation 24/7. Okay, so that is where you see the SRE is having more responsibilities than DevOps engineer. So there is a new way of working as an SRE engineer. Okay, so these are the some areas where DevOps engineer can make a significant impact on your company's productivity. So yeah, so now we'll move to the next topics. Okay, some or other way we are doing this DevOps. I'm using some tools and I'm using some other practices I'm doing. But now what? Like, what is the future of DevOps? Is this DevOps term is still relevant, or I need to choose some other domain, or I need to jump to I need to become only AI engineers will survive, or DevOps engineers will not survive? Okay, so that is the question most often I get. Is there any future for DevOps or not? Okay, so let's deep dive into that. And before that, I wanted to go through the evaluation of the technology first. Okay, so I'm an oldie. I started my career as 20 years back. So that time nobody knows what to learn and all. That time we had this famous university called Amirpet University, and then where we go and they'll say that okay, if you do learn this, you'll get a job. Okay, that's it, right? Somebody testing tools, Selenium, or somebody say Java, or somebody say .NET or something. So that time it was easy because just you learn that, and then there is a specific job for that and you apply. But over the period, the technology is evolving, right? So you don't need a Selenium tester or a web tester no more, right? Now because that is automated. So now earlier we used to have manual test engineers. Okay, so I'm not seeing any role of manual test engineer right now, because that is disappeared because of the technology evolution, right? So then it came the automation revolution. So then we had so many like Python kind of languages and scripting languages evolve, and I was also like one of the automation engineer initially. So I learned, and then that automation period was evolving, and then the manual, all these outdated rules were disappeared. Okay, so then came the new era of you can call it as the DevOps, or you can call it as a machine observation. So you are the technologies become very intelligent, but it is not at the peak of like AI, right? So still there is a human intervention is needed. Like still there is a testing, there is a testing separate team, and that too only for the automation point of view. So when you see a software career, it started with Y2K problem solving, a simple task, and then manual testing, and then slowly the database or development of C, C++, and then Java, and then it became automation. Now we are doing from end to end, from development, testing, and even the operation. Operation is nothing but you deliver the product into the market, right? So all these are now can be taken care by a single team. Okay, that is the evolution right now. So what we are replacing with this, if AI can replace all this, so you have to think AI as a helping tool for the DevOps methodologies. So what DevOps says and what AI says is not a different one. Okay, so what DevOps says, collaboration from the starting stage to ending stage, right? So from the development stage to testing stage to and releasing everything. Okay, and what AI says, you give me what is the output you want, and I'll figure it out, what tools needed, what what processes I have to follow, and everything. So the concept wise it is same. Okay, so that is why I was telling somebody that DevOps will never die. Okay, this is the only methodology. It is not the something that a Java tool or a .NET tool or any other. Okay, so DevOps will survive only because the sole reason is it's a methodology. We wanted to improve the processes and improve the productivity and faster to market, right? So whenever you are developing something, earlier when you are following the waterfall model, the minimum time requirement to deliver any product is 1 year. But now you can deliver even in weeks. Okay, so even the patch release can be happen in days. So that is how it is evolving, and the processes is changing at a rapid pace, but the methodology will not change. Okay, so AI will definitely help a DevOps career. So that's what the bottom line I wanted to mention here. So I think whatever Kapil told, if you understand, I mean, even if you are already started, it's good. But if you are not started, I strongly recommend you to understand what are the AI tools it can help you, improve your skill set and use that technology in your career, so that it will definitely add an advantage. Okay, so that is the main thing. Okay, so what about and I wanted to become a DevOps engineer, but is there any market? So I mean, there is a market, because as I said, still if you are replacing all the day-to-day routine jobs with DevOps or AI engineers, still the digitization and the market is increasing. So that is where you need to focus on, right? So all the research says that this market is rapidly increasing. It is not like decreasing. Okay, so earlier some tools were evolved and declined. Some markets were evolved and declined. But now the DevOps market is always increasing. So I can safely say that you can choose this market and you can survive for next, I think, 32, right? So, and even beyond that, we are seeing that there is a increase in the market where a DevOps engineer can make a impact on the software industry revenues. Okay, so why? What still a DevOps engineer can, in what terms it will be helpful for the organizations? So there is a research conducted between the companies who are not adopting DevOps practices and not who are adopting the DevOps, and we can see significant increase in their productivity, right? And there is a time to market also reduced a lot. So if companies are benefiting with this practices, definitely I think they will more focus on recruiting more DevOps engineers. And even from the developer point of view or the engineer point of view, the DevOps is increasing and it is simplifying your day-to-day job. Okay, so for example, here I see when we are using DevOps practices, it is increasing your productivity by to deliver the code 2.5x faster. And of course, instead of now you are using GitHub, right? When AI comes, you can use Copilot to increase further more. Okay, so end of the day, you have to do the same work, but how quickly you are doing, how productive you are is important. Okay, and then if you are a normal engineer and you are a DevOps engineer with using AI, then you will be always you have a more so okay, so end of the day, DevOps practices are helping both organization as well as engineers. And even if you see job trends, right? DevOps engineers are like most topmost career in the last year. So, and one more interesting thing is there are opening. I wanted to go through this first. Okay, so these are the career roles, right? DevOps engineer, and even SRE sometimes is more like a DevOps engineer, but he will be on call 24/7 available. So he is the front guard here, right? To safeguard your product. And yeah, this release manager are kind of still there, because release manager earlier it is only for building your product, but now release manager is taking care of every aspect of your product, including security, including best practices, time to market and everything. So release manager still role is there, but there is more responsibilities. Yeah, automation is always integral part. And after this cloud evaluation, we had like cloud engineer and DevOps architect. All these roles are very much relevant to DevOps engineer. But one interesting thing is, even though these are the specific roles only pointing to DevOps, in our organization or any other organization, they recruit DevOps engineer with the title software engineer. So it is very important to go through with the job description rather than just searching with the DevOps engineer. Okay, so there is no DevOps engineer title mentioned in the career portal, but still you are doing a DevOps engineer role. Okay, so first you need to understand what is a DevOps engineer roles and responsibilities, and then if the job description says that one of the responsibilities are matching, then you can safely apply. So that is the one thing I observed when they say I'm looking for a DevOps engineer, but there is no matching role here. But actually, software engineer is a general term, but you are doing the DevOps engineer role, so there's no difference at all. Okay, so yeah, these are the few trends we have observed is going to be still relevant in the coming years. And if you have these technologies in your resume or in your skill set, definitely it will be helpful for your career. So that is what I wanted to focus on, one by one. So one is the container adoption. So how many of you know Docker container or building your solutions in container? So most of the people. But if I ask the same question like 2 years back, like they are just started, right? So now everybody is born in the cloud and they wanted to develop their applications in the containers only. The more containers you use, the simplified the architecture you have, and the more agility for the companies to develop faster. So when you have this container technologies, the container, I'm not differentiating between the Kubernetes, because the more containers you use, you need orchestration, and the de facto orchestration tool is nothing but a Kubernetes. So the more you know about Kubernetes containers, the more advantage you have. Okay. And one more thing is serverless computing. So what is serverless computing? It is when you develop something, earlier we used to have this web servers, you have this infrastructure within your premises and you develop everything, okay, and you maintain that. So that is the overhead. So this is the difference between the serverless and traditional approach, where you are serverless doesn't mean that you don't have servers. You still have servers, but you don't maintain the servers in your environment. Rather, you loan or you pull that servers on demand, and you basically you have that servers somewhere in the cloud. Okay, for example, AWS Lambda, right? So what is the advantage? Any company like startup companies or any companies which are like developing a new product, they don't need to spend too much amount of money on their infrastructure. They can still write their logic, business logic in a function and upload safely in cloud, and then they can use. So the infrastructure cost will be reduced if you are starting with the serverless company. And yeah, so these are the advantages. I think you can save the cost, and it's a simplified, and you can reuse that function, right? So and the latency is also it is like the cloud, when you are posting in a cloud throughout the globe, which will respond wherever it is an error. So you can get a fast response. Okay, so this is also one of the important um, development is going on, and it's already started years back, but still companies wanted to spend more energy and effort and revenue on this, because still the monolithic applications are predominantly used in the market, but they wanted to make that into microservices so that it will be more advantageous for the customers, right? So this is still an ongoing process. So if you are someone who knows microservices architecture, definitely it is an advantage for you. And whenever you have a monolithic experience, then you know the pain points, right? So now you can simplify that process, breaking into the microservices architecture. So, and one more important thing is this security. So whenever you are building a pipeline, okay, so how many of you use Qualys or Mend or some scanning tools? So nowadays it is must, because these tools will detect all the vulnerabilities or all the security issues upfront, rather than it is going to market and then you are bombarded with all these vulnerabilities. So DevOps is not complete without this security augmented within these pipelines. So one of the important thing is, even though DevSecOps is not called explicitly, security is always part of DevOps. So yeah, and one gap here is with the open source technologies, they still have not very sophisticated secure security tools available. So there is a still dependency on the developers to provide a full foolproof architecture. So if you are very good at security protocol, security architecture, and the DevOps, you are bestseller. You have more demand in the market. So that is because security is evergreen. Okay, so I think after this, AI tools is coming. Somebody saying, like Jensen saying, that no need to learn coding, right? So, but it is always good you have a coding experience. I say, because even it is generating a code, you need to understand whether it generated a right code or not. So if you don't know coding, you just blindly copy and paste, and it will bombard you with your bugs and errors. Right? So you need to see that as a helping tool, not as a replacement. Okay, so and now this is a source evaluation. There is a low code already exists. It is not that it is after AI, ChatGPT only it is coming. It's already started. You can, if you go to Salesforce and you can just drop and drag, and you can build your web server, right? So web page in minutes. But if something you have to be doing customization, or you are changing the business logic, definitely you need to understand. That's why it's a low code. It's not no code. Okay, still you need to have that logic, understanding that problem solving and everything. But there is a tools help you to foster the process. Okay, so yeah, the more you know about the SaaS platforms, the better you can onboard or develop the solution faster. Okay, so infrastructure as a code is very, very important when you are dealing with the large enterprises, right? You need to onboard, you need to apply security patches or configuration to multiple devices now across the globe. Okay, here is an interesting story. Like even with DevOps, I think when it's not DevOps, I think we are. How many of you know Chef or Puppet or something? So you are. I think you are having very more years of experience, I guess. So that time, this is the only alternative, and we had study and Chef and Puppet. Who is the best one? Okay, which is the best one to solve this configuration? So the problem we are going to solve is we are bringing up these hundreds of devices, and we have to they are having a different versions. They're having a different base OS or something. So we need to understand that, and we need to build our code on top of that and build our solution. So it's a tedious process. Somebody estimated it's 1 year it will take, but with the help of this infrastructure as a code, we built it very fast. Okay, we've solved that problem. So, and that time we are using Chef, and I think Chef because of some advantages over there. But after the years, there are a lot of tools evolved like Terraform, and Terraform is kind of like all-in-one tool. It can help you in onboarding your product from any cloud devices, because it's an open source tool, and it is having vendor plugins in every cloud. So you no need to understand every cloud. Okay, so if you know how to bring up a VM or virtual machine or container in one of the cloud, it is easy because the Terraform code is same. The plan is same, and you need to just change the cloud or environment wherever you are hosting. That's it. It will do everything. So these kind of tools, I think, definitely useful when you wanted to become DevOps engineer, especially the onboarding stuff. And if you are dealing with a lot of infrastructure, these tools will definitely help. Okay. And somebody said Jenkins, right? So still you are using Jenkins? Okay, good. So yeah, So now this is the GitOps. I love this tool very much because GitOps, after learning this GitOps, right? This is becoming all-in-one tool. Okay. So earlier you are using for continuous integration you are using Jenkins, and version control we are using Git and some other tools, and then for release we are using some other other tools actually. But now with the lot of additions happen to Git, so that you can use only Git to do from end to end. So from version controlling, from continuous integration, and even pipeline building, and even you can release, right? So we heavily use Git. So because of this, no need to rely on multiple tools. You can use only one tool, and you can automate everything in a single pipeline using GitOps. Okay, so the more you know about Git, it's a more advantages, right? So, and the one best thing about open source contributors is whenever I recruit anybody, I'll ask their, I don't ask their resume, I'll ask their GitHub, user, right? So no bluffing, no fake certificates, no fake resume. It's only just you go through whatever the contribution they have, I can see everything. So it's easy for me, right, to know about the candidate. So that is how like Git will help. If you are using Git, I think if you are using Git, Git, then I strongly recommend to contribute one of the source open source projects, whatever you like. That is up to you. But that contributions matter a lot, because whenever I wanted to, anybody wanted to see your experience, they can simply go and see. Okay, so after that, I think, yeah, after this AI era, is AI going to eat up DevOps, or it will still continue? But it's like the good representation of this picture. So AI will be added as one more circle. That's it. So AI will help DevOps to expedite the process and help the organization to become more productive. That's it. Okay, so I think what kind of AI tools you use, that is up to the organization specific needs, but that tools can be integrated. So you call, whether you call it AI ops or ML ops, that is still the process is same, right? So you will use those tools in continuous integration, or wherever the phase it is. Okay, so yeah, and yeah, this is no surprise, because the AI market will definitely grow. If somebody, there, I think when we started, like when OpenAI introduced ChatGPT, we had a CNCF meetup, first meetup after the lockdown. So everybody is new to that, and then somebody thought that like it may or may not be good, adapted quickly, but in this 1-2 years it is adapting very quickly, right? So this will grow exponentially. The difference between the technology evaluation between 20 years and now is, earlier it is going, when it is in 2000, it is the technology that the evolution is that 10 years period, and then it is a 5 years period after cloud. Now it is a like 1 year, 2 years, time frame, everything will change. So you need to be very adaptive. So when you are not adaptive, you will be outdated. So that is where I think we need to more focus on. Okay, so I'm an automation engineer. Still, I'm relevant, or I will pursue some other career. If you are an automation engineer, you have a very good skill set, because DevOps is nothing but an automation. Okay? So the more you know the automation, it is very much helpful, and definitely that skill set will be helpful for your career, and as well as when you go in interviews, it will be definitely helpful. Okay, last but not least, the CNCF. Why I want to specifically talk about the CNCF is, the more you look at the CNCF landscape, right? the open source technologies are coming in a very, very, rapid space. If you talk about you are talking about the AI today, and tomorrow somebody will come up with, some nice open source AI tool. And if you rely on OpenAI, right? OpenAI, I just wanted to change the name. It's not OpenAI. It's a closed name, by the way, because it's not nothing is free. When you wanted to build something, they ask you to buy API or something. But look at CNCF. Actually, they are doing a good community work, and there are a army of open source contributors. They are developing, for example, Cube, which is just evolving. You can use that tool to automate your Kubernetes environment. So the more you learn Kubernetes CNCF technologies, the and you can easily learn because everything is open. You can just go to the GitHub page and you can understand. And because we are part of CNCF Hyderabad, we wanted to give awareness to everyone that these tools are available for everyone. And this especially in this AI era, you need to be updated with all the upcoming trends and what exactly needed to focus. Okay, because if you're not updating ourselves and not learning, the latest technologies, then it will be like you are not up to date, and you need to stay relevant. Otherwise, this technology evolution is in such a rapid space that in no way. I mean, you are you are now a software engineer now, and you will be replaced by AI engineer tomorrow. So that is where we want to focus more on the CNCF technologies. You go to the, I think in the first session we already talked about what are the CNCF technologies we are available. And in this meet, every month we will be focusing on one important technology and giving awareness so that everybody can knowledge transfer and share your ideas. So yeah, that's it. I think in the interest of time, I will stop here. Any questions?